Hello and welcome to another Tuesday Truth with Thera-Mom. I'm Kelly Richardson and happy Tuesday. If you are new and this is your first time watching one of my Tuesday Truth videos, I'm glad you're here. I hope you come back. Follow me on YouTube. I give just little tips and little nuggets of information on Tuesdays to just help us in all of this craziness that's happening in our world right now. So today's Tuesday Truth, can you guess? It is that therapy is cool. And that's today's Tuesday Truth. So let me ask y'all a question. If you had a toothache and your tooth was hurting, and it was hurting you so bad and it was making it hard to eat and it was making it hard to sleep, or maybe you didn't even want to go out with friends because it was throbbing and everything you were trying just didn't seem to be working to make that tooth feel better, would you just sit and just wait for the tooth to eventually get better? Most of us would say no. We would go to a dentist. And so we have to ask ourselves sometimes why we put our physical health, if you injured your leg, you'd go to an orthopedic or a doctor. If there was something going on intestinally, you'd go see a gastroenterologist. All of these physical symptoms, we would respond by going to see a doctor. Well, our emotional health is just as important. And that is where we go to therapy to help us with our emotional health. So let me start with 3 things that therapy is not. Therapy is not just for people who are crazy, weak, or have issues. The majority of people in therapy are ordinary people dealing with ordinary life struggles, issues, whatever they're dealing with life. They're ordinary people. They're your neighbor, they're your teacher, they're your child's best friend's parents, they're your pastor, could be anybody. Therapy is for normal, ordinary people. It's not, the idea that people will say, well, if you go to therapy, it must mean you're crazy. That's not true at all. Number 2, it is not a sign of a character flaw or a weakness. It is actually a sign of the desire to grow internally. We know growth, your personal growth is an inside job. It's a job that happens within you. So it's a chance to grow. It's a chance to become more insightful about yourself. And it takes a lot of courage and bravery to do that. So no, people that are in therapy aren't weak or don't have character flaws. They're often people that want to feel better and have better relationships, and so they reach out for therapy to kind of help them along in their journey. And the third thing therapy is not, it is not a place where you go where somebody just tells you what to do. And often I hear people say, well, why would I pay somebody to tell me what to do? We don't tell you what to do. So often we are just there to offer suggestions, tips, tools, call out certain patterns of behavior that maybe you don't see, that an outside party can see, to offer different suggestions on maybe if you tried this, it might work, but not in a way where we're telling you what you're doing is wrong or that you're bad. We're not there to tell you what to do. We're there to walk beside you on the journey, but we're not going to direct your journey or tell you exactly what you need to do or tell you that you're doing things wrong. So those are 3 things that therapy is not. I'm going to give you 5 brief things that therapy is. First of all, therapy is an opportunity for you to show up for yourself and for those around you once a week. Where else do you get to go where you are the subject matter for 1 hour a week, where you get to explore yourself, you get to go into talking about relationships, you get to talk about your current thoughts, what your feelings are. You get that hour completely to talk about whatever you want. So it's an opportunity for you to show up for yourself, to honor whatever you're working through and to have a safe space to talk about whatever your feelings are, whatever's going on with you. And it's your opportunity to show up for yourself. The second thing, therapy, emotional health is just as important as physical health. We know this. We know this to be true on so many levels. Therapy boosts physical health. I actually wrote down that there was a research recently that showed that treating mental health conditions through therapy can decrease the risk of stroke, diabetes, and rheumatoid arthritis. It can also, it's been proven, I mean, there's a Time magazine article that shares this. It can also decrease inflammation and blood pressure within the body. There is a mind-body connection. And so we have to realize that value of emotional health and physical health. You know, I see people in their training and they post pictures and going to yoga and doing all of these physical health things that are great to make them feel better. But we also have to do whatever's going on inside and give that emotional health that same whatever, you know, if you're working out for physical health, well, emotional health needs to be worked out. Emotional health needs to be exercised. And that is in therapy, that's a place often where we work on our emotional health. So it's like a gym, but for your insides. It's a gym for your head and your heart and whatever's going on within in you. And there's that same power that working on our physical health is so important, but our emotional health is just as important. Okay, the third thing that makes therapy so cool is that it's 100% confidential. Where else in your life is there a place where you can go and say anything? Now, I do want to say that in therapy, if we think you are at risk for harming yourself, or if you're going to harm somebody else, or you know of somebody else who's being harmed, in those circumstances, we have to take that information and make sure everybody's safe. But beyond that, it's completely confidential. You can say whatever you want. I always tell my patients, cuss words not only permitted, but encouraged. I mean, if that's what you're feeling and you need to say it and say it with a cuss word, totally fine. You can say whatever you want. It is the safest space possible. And one of the things that I remind my patients about all the time is that I am neither judge nor jury of them. And so I'm not sitting on this side of the couch and they're sitting there sharing, and I'm not sitting over here judging them or thinking negatively about them or putting them down, or that's not happening at all. As a matter of fact, usually on this side, I'm thinking how brave that person is and how much courage they have to be sharing this and how much I respect whatever that they're processing because they're in trying to do the work. So we do not sit on the judgment couch on this side over here. We sit from a supportive stance, from a place of wanting to encourage, support, and provide a safe space. And it's 100% confidential. So there's nothing that you're going to say that's going to leave that room. I always tell people that it's a place where we take our mask off. Because so often in everyday life, we're wearing these masks. You know, how's it going? Good, great, fine. I'm going to post my pictures. Life is great. Family's great. Everything's great. But that's just a mask. Right? That's just a glimpse of what's going on. And when we come into therapy, we take our mask off. It's our place to exhale without worry, because it's all confidential. Okay, the fourth great thing that makes therapy cool is that it gives you tools to put and tuck into your toolbox that maybe you're not even going to use right now. You know, when you think about it, when you call for a plumber or somebody to come fix your house, often they come and they've got a truck and it's full of tools. They don't just bring a wrench. They don't just bring a hammer. They've got a toolbox full of tools just in case they're going to need them. Well, therapy helps you work on developing those tools, putting those coping skills, the ability to communicate, all of those little tools that we can tuck in that toolbox to use. Even if we're not using it now, we may need to use it in the future. Therapy helps us stock up that toolbox. And you never know when something's going to happen, or you're going to get overwhelmed with an emotion, and you're going to need to tuck into that toolbox, dip in there, grab whatever you need, and use it to help you share what's going on, or reach out for help, or find the resources, or help someone else. That toolbox is so important. Okay, the fifth and final reason that therapy is cool is that it touches on all aspects of your life. Therapy helps with confidence, jobs, relationships, self-esteem, sleep, physical issues like migraines and stomach aches, and it helps with loss, it helps with transitions, it helps with changes. It just helps with so many areas of your life. It's not restricted to just one area. Therapy has its fingers out in helping you to access and touch and talk about and process so many areas of your life, areas that you might not even think you even were struggling with until you started talking about it. And then you realized, oh, hey, here's something I want to kind of process. And sometimes just the practice of processing allows us to figure things out, and therapy really does bring clarity to people. It helps them to see things with a clearer picture. Okay, so in the end, therapy is cool because it's just a standing invitation at any point to come to work on you, to focus on you, to focus on yourself, on making yourself be the best you possible, on giving you a safe space to talk about whatever's going on, helping you develop resources, and to help you in this world navigate in a way that you feel you're being your best self. Therapy is cool. So your practice for today, one of the things I do want to say to people is, so often people will say, if somebody says something's going on, they need to go to therapy, and they say it in a way that it's so derogatory or negative. There's nothing negative about needing to go to therapy. And so be careful I guess the practice for today is be careful of your wording, and word it in a way that's, if you're concerned about somebody, you want to say to them, do you think it would help to talk? Do you think you might feel better if you talk to somebody? But don't word it in a way where they think you're saying there's something wrong with them, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with reaching out and going to therapy. Therapy's cool. Have a great week. See you back here again. Thera-Mom, give me a follow, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.